Soul Seekers, ready to pierce life's chaos with divine truth? Ace of Swords crowns your power. Prince of Wands ignites your mission. Spiritual health unlocked now. Hello, fellow seekers. So happy to have you with me. Welcome. And if you're new here, you're welcome also. And my name is Carrie, and I am the keeper of the Soul Life Treasure Hunt. Now, as you may not realize quite yet, if you're brand new, this channel is not like other channels. We are dedicating more of our readings to a timeless type of idea where it's more about personal growth, self-help, places you can visit that will talk to you about what's going on in the emotional moment, or a physical experience, or a desire or goal or want that you have, maybe a relationship that is yes or no. And you just have questions, and it's purely for you. It's a system that was something I prayed for, because to me at that time life was fragmented, crazy. I couldn't understand how to navigate it, so I prayed diligently over and over, and finally this thing drops in my lap. So I'm so happy to be able to share it with you. And we are, each time we come to this board, I call it the Soul Life Treasure Hunt board. It is a proprietary method and system that was absolutely divinely given to me, that I am so excited to be able to give you and let you play with this as well. So if you have your own decks that you want to play alongside this video, then please do. Otherwise, just sit back and enjoy. I will also be putting many links in the description and information, lots of goodies there, so you're gonna want to check that out. But I do have a membership that you'll be able to learn more about in the description. But basically, I will take this initial reading and then I will build upon it and explore more. A basic reading that you can just take a look at. It's more simple than what I do over in my membership. In my membership, I take this same reading and I will expand upon it and add more cards and talk more about what the meanings and what is coming through for me as I express it to you. And you are welcome to likewise take what's being laid out on the board and decide for yourself. Maybe there's something here for you to see as well, and Spirit is speaking to you as you go through these cards and placements with your own journey. And it's a great journey, even though sometimes it is so challenging and you question yourself, you question life, you question the universe. At least that's how I did it. And so now I'm finding it much easier, but it doesn't get always easy in life. So having a system such as this that helps you in those dark hours of, say, 2 in the morning when you got this question and you can't, I just bring out my system and it's like, there it is. Thank you. So cards to me are a wonderful tool for drawing out this intuitive voice of that I can hear, and I can see it more readily. I guess that's my kinesthetic nature, that I want to have a little more hands-on than some people might. But anyway, we're going to continue. I'm really still involved in the Millennium Toth deck. I don't know, I just have found it to be incredibly helpful, and I just love it because it's speaking to me right now. And I've got some other great decks that are more Rider-Waite, and oracle decks that are Christ consciousness, and just a number of different ideas and things that are wisdom based that I am finding more and more just help build upon each other. It's astounding, I must say. So we're going to go ahead and we've been dealing with the spiritual health and well-being of our lives. We've looked at the health or body area, like that physical stuff. We've looked at the manifesting, how what we are wanting is manifesting, or how we're going towards something and want to manifest something kind of lives in this realm, in this system. The relationships that we have with others, with even just the universe itself, and the way nature works, it can all live up in here, and that's also going to be tied to our emotional and mental self. So over here is where we actually are in our power, how we think and feel, how we experience what we're experiencing with our body and our health, and what we do for ourselves. Those things are all kind of right in here. The mirror is over here, which is kind of interesting as well. And then, of course, I have added the chakras for my own personal journey and growth. You do not need to do that, but I just have found it's interesting to use those as place markers, and helps me to focus on maybe a specific chakra that might be of significant help. But you've got so many things in your life that you are probably using as tools as well. I started out with mine being the Bible. So I was doing Bible studies, and then I ended up moving on, and we can talk about that over in another session, maybe probably over in the membership, because there's some personal things in there, and for public view, we're gonna just do a simpler version over here, and then you can ask me more deep questions in the membership if that's ever something you want to do. So anyway, whether you have a deck or not, let's get going with this spiritual health and well-being. Like I said, we've already worked on the quadrants. We know that we have alignment and flow, and how life flows with us. And I've always seen that to be very much like the way that our sights are created in like photos and airplanes, where you have your horizon and you have your vertical, and it helps you to find where you're at in those parameters. Same with this board. It kind of gives you an idea of how the past is influencing now, and how now can influence your future, and how you maybe want that to happen, or maybe you want to change the trajectory. You always have that kind of power, and I want to make sure that you know that no one else has your answers, not even me, but I can help give you some tools and some things to think about. If you have a journal, you can journal on it after we get done. We are going to be looking now at the overview. How does God see us in an objective light? That was the reason why I brought this prayer to the divine, is I need to see me the way you see me, because how I saw myself was lacking, at the mercy of everybody else's whims and wills and their controls. And it was very difficult for me to get out of my own way. So I needed something like this that could help me see God's perspective, the divine's perspective, source, I don't know how you call it, that higher being that helps you to find a truer, authentic you that is buried deep down inside. And often, we are working with our creature self, the ego, as well as the spiritual soul self that I see as eternal. So let's, without any more ado, normally I roll dice and just find a chakra stone and a focus, but we're going to look today a little differently. I don't know what we're going to see and learn, but I'm going to bring in my personal guide, the Holy Spirit. I feel him already. And I would like to ask, where do you want us to focus today on spiritual health and well-being on an objective level that we can see from a higher benevolent viewpoint and perspective that is giving us? Whew, there we are. Ace of Swords. Oh my gosh. Perfect. This is like you have a crowning divine nature that is piercing from this cloudiness and right up into this divine nature. So the thoughts and beliefs you have, it's beginning now, right now. Whatever you need to know, we're working on it right now. So there's that. Love this. Okay. What does our soul want us to harmonize with or balance a bit more with in this reading? The Prince of Wands. Oh my goodness. Being on a mission with our own divine will, knowing our highest and best self, and the power, the strength, and that we are on a real mission. Ooh, I love this too. Let me do this really quick because I think you need to see that card just a little more zoomed up. I had just realized that this, I'm calling it a phoenix head on his staff, says he's been through a lot and he's risen up from the ashes, and now he is a prince. He knows he's a prince. He's a prince with a mission from the divine, from his higher guidance, and being given a chariot and the strong lion that is just not going to be putting up with anybody's anything. And the divine is with him. There's the wings and the eyes and the face. I'm loving this one. Like I said, there's things about these readings that each time I do them, many times I'll see the cards, but I'll see something different. And I don't know if you've ever done that with, say, a song or books or other things that you've maybe read, a verse or something, and you thought you knew what it meant. Yeah. And then at some point, there's something else that gets illuminated, and you're just amazed because you had never seen that before. But it's there, always has been there, but now you're aware. That is awareness, and that's the beauty of being intuitive. So never be afraid to come back and revisit these beautiful readings, because you are probably going to be able to apply some of the information in a different way than you may have thought before. Let's see what our personal power, the consciousness of what we are aware of. You know this one. You know how to use Five of Wands to your benefit. Five of Wands. Fives a lot of times are very chaotic, but they're also, to me, information central. In this way, I'm seeing it is being Saturn. So all of those crazy lessons those fragmented bits and pieces that you thought you had, they messed with you. They were informing you that you didn't have enough, you lacked something, or you needed more control, or you were over controlling to be able to protect yourself from feeling lack, or maybe there were just too many other ways and people and things to take care of. And so you have a divine calling. And even though it's been quite, I'm going to say, quite challenging to be able to sort through all of the responsibilities, the beauty, the sorrows, because I can see the bird heads again, but they're grayed out this time, which means that it probably took you down a bit. So that's okay, because the staff is also tied very much to Leo. You can see Leo there in the card. Let me just see if I can get that zoomed in. Don't know if you can see the sign of Leo in that Saturn symbol. And we have Saturn up above. So divine lessons as well as earthly lessons combined with a very strong ego-centered Leo. And Leos are all about joy. So you see all this fieriness, and you didn't always maybe know how to bring it all together. There was also beauty, but there was just a lot of information coming in at you all at once, that now you have the ability to know something about that, which for me, I don't know about you, but for me, it's like I've been around this block before, and you know what? It always works out, even if it's crazy. Sometimes I just need one more wand to come in, and then it all comes down and it's all good. Or it could be that there's one less wand, and that can also be a bit more balancing to it. But you know how to manage when life gets a little bit crazy and a lot is being asked of you. That is part of your power. So knowing that about yourself is huge. And I encourage you to think about that, especially if you're going to journal on this one. Give yourself a moment to say, when did I find these situations as actually, in the long run, quite enlightening and empowering, and I know I can get through anything that is facing me right now because I've done it in the past. Speaking of the past, let's see what things flowed in for you. Six of Swords. So Six of Swords to me is more balanced in things are working fairly well. You've got a Mercury and Aquarius, and even though you've got squares and some stars and some triangles and you've got the flower in the center, you know that down deep inside of you, it's all a beautiful life. It's all coming together. It can be what you're harmonizing, what you're bringing in from the divine, that information. It could be some of the real deep interpersonal stuff that you don't share with everyone, and it could be maybe some crowning glories that are part of the gifts that are coming in for you. It could be seasons and cycles of what is going on in the world, because even if you're doing fine, maybe it's stormy outside, maybe others are rattling in their lives and they're not knowing what to do, or maybe they're in really good place and you're the one that's like, I gotta shape my mind toward this more than just being involved in any kind of crazy. It can also help you to see a purpose. That's what I love about sixes. Sixes, a lot of times, to me, can help you see a vocation, a calling, a gift that says, I have the talents, the knowledge, the education, the experience, and I can be there and do a lot. Now, that can also mean that you tried to be all that for other people, like I have done. That can be codependency at some level if it's overdone. And so that is something you may want to say, okay, maybe this was a codependent situation that now I am rising up and finding my own truth here. It could also be maybe I had to go through all those lessons, all the journeying and finding what tied together. I know that's what I see with connections. So Carrie Farmer Connections is, we're going to see all the various points. We're going to see the geometry of our lives. The way the game gets played is more than just the sum of what you see in the moment. It is far greater. So where would that lead? So let's take a look. That can lead to you being in the Prince of Cups. Prince of Cups is rising above all those emotional waters. He is also very much on a mission, knows something about what emotions are doing, and he can rise above them and be able to bring gifts to the world and look for whatever he is going toward as being the next goal that he is being divinely asked to go find. So I see this as being quite positive because you're able to find what the past and right now is informing this nature of yourself, the divine sovereign being. It says prince, it can be a princess. Don't get too hung up on the gender so much as just the status of your own divine nature. You're above the earthly worries and struggles in storminess because you're rising above it and you are looking for the next better experiences. I see that is what down here, same thing. The Prince of Wands, the soul wants you to go, what if there's something even more exciting ahead for you? Can you give yourself permission to be that sovereign being on a mission, even when it looks really crazy? And just expect that it's going to take you through some emotions. It could take you through some fiery moments. Here we have got our fires. And your ability to use your own mind, which is a God-given gift, to pierce through all that murky and just cloudiness and rise up into a sunnier, more enlightened awareness and reach even up further up into the stars and the ethers for more guidance, because you've been through it all. You've done so much. You know that you're heading for some even greater destinations, and where those might be, that's a personal story that you're going to find, and it can change from time to time, but this reading will speak to each one of those times for you. As I said, we will be going over this even more depth and adding more cards in the membership. So it's up to you if you want to join us over there. But one of the things that I will do for you now, too, is to take a look at the bottom card. And that is the Wheel of Fortune. It's right there. I see the Wheel of Fortune, and I set it as a bridge because all that going higher and from the depths of possible despair up to the heavenly divine knowing of your own divinity is going to be bridged by what you've experienced in the past and where you're going to in the future, and the Wheel of Fortune. That's really good because that, in this reading, looks very positive to me. Let me give you a card zoom on that one. There you go. So the Wheel of Fortune can change, and as I have seen, it sometimes will take really good times, and then it might say, well, we need to now move on and learn or just experience something else. So no matter what you're experiencing, it's going to eventually turn and be another moment in time. And that's why I say come back to these readings when they make sense as Spirit brings you. Just see where you are at that time. There were times I thought, hey, I've already done it. I've got the lesson. We're moving on. Only to come and find out later on, even decades later, that what I thought I'd worked on, and I did, was now being asked for me to see them more from a vantage point. And remember, we're looking at the big picture, the overview that the divine sees in us. The divine wants us on missions. The divine wants us to know that life cycles and circles around. I see circles here. I see the swords, which is thoughts and beliefs, how you're feeling and knowing about yourself, the way that you use your God-given free will, and how you align yourself with a divine purpose, with the power of the Leo. And I just love how this lion and the Leo are just together. So spirit and soul are like, you got this. You really do. So there you are. Those, my friends, are an overview of how the system can work for you no matter what you're doing. Even if you pull your own cards, you'll find a similar thing. Do always look for the most encouraging and positive guides in your experience. That is job one. You want truth. You don't want your ego to be involved. You want this to be a divine calling, a divine tapping in within your own self, because it's there. It's always there. And I do love watching others who do their readings, and a lot of times you'll see them do oracle or tarot readings or other mindfulness deck readings, and they'll do those more specific to a situation or an experience, personality moment that people are doing. But it still works. It's just that I'm finding that for personal growth uses, I love this system. It makes perfect sense to me, and it gives me a bigger objectivity, wider awareness that just because I'm thinking and feeling some way, there is a grander scale like we have now, knowing that we are on a mission. So I give that to you. What mission are you on? We'd love to hear that in the comments. So please share this with others who you feel could benefit from this type of style of reading and self-help, as well as like and share, because it helps so much. Comments and all of that. get the notifications. It just really helps the channel to grow and become more and more relevant for all of us. And I'm giving you a wonderful blessing for the week. Have a great day. Thanks again for joining.